I have in my hands the Razer Blackshark V3 Pro wireless headset. When this headset came out in late July of this year, reviews were a little bit of a mixed bag. You see, while this headset did a great job of ticking a lot of different unique features that would be awesome to have in a premium quality headset, a lot of reviewers were quick to criticize its seemingly step back in the microphone department, especially when compared to the excellent microphone of the V2 Pro Wireless 2023 headset. Now, I've had this headset for a little over a month now, and it's been my main daily driver for both work and gaming. And I gotta say, I like this headset, and I do think it is the better headset of the two. But that said, I can't really confidently say that I would recommend it over the V2 Pro Wireless. But let's talk about that. All right, so this headset has been out for a while and has already been reviewed a bunch, but in case you haven't seen anything on this headset yet, let's talk about the features that you should expect when buying the V3 Pro Wireless. On the headset, you get Razer's trademark main volume knob that's located on the left side of the headset. The headset also has a mic mute toggle button. You also have a chat mixer wheel that allows you to adjust the chat or game balance, giving you audio cues when the levels are balanced or maxed out on either end of the spectrum. There's also the quick settings button that lets you switch between the different EQ presets of the headset, just like on the 2023 V2 Pro, all of which can also be adjusted in the Razer Synapse app. As far as sound quality goes with the headphones, they're fine. They're nothing spectacular. They're very effective when gaming, but if you're looking to use these for something like editing or music listening, it's not great. I've personally never found Razer's headphones to really be that great in terms of its audio quality, but they're more than effective when it comes to gaming. While I'm being critical on this headset's features, they do advertise an ANC mode. You push this little button and it toggles ANC. If you push it, I believe, a second time, it toggles an audio pass-through. The audio pass-through is actually pretty nice. As someone who's got both a wife and 2 kids, I don't like to game completely isolated. I like to be able to hear in case, someone needs something, especially one of my kids. So I would often find myself gaming with one ear open, but the audio pass-through is decent enough to where I can actually comfortably have both ear cups on at all times. Now, that's the audio pass-through. The ANC on this thing sucks. It might as well not exist. I can barely tell that any sort of ANC is even active. I don't know if that's something that can be fixed with the firmware update, but yeah, it's pretty damn bad, and it basically is non-existent. I will say my favorite feature by far with this headset that I've actually used quite a bit is its dual audio feature, meaning I can use this connected to my 2.4 gigahertz dongle on my PC, but then at the same time, I can have this connected to my phone via Bluetooth. So if you wanted to doom scroll TikTok between your multiplayer matches, or if you want to have the ability to take a phone call from your headset, you can. The feature is both very convenient for both gaming and work from home situations. It's just been a really cool thing that I didn't know I wanted until I had it. When it comes to design and comfort on this headset, it's pretty much the same as the V2 Pro in my opinion. It's a little heavier. There are very minor differences, but I think a lot of that's just very subjective. The ear cups, for example, are a slightly different material than the V2 Pro. It's not a good or bad thing in my eyes. It's just a little different. Feels a little bit more textured. The headset, like I believe I said, is a little bit heavier because of a bit more tech packed in, but it's still just as comfortable as the V2 Pro. I think honestly this design that Razer has done is probably the most comfortable headset design on the market. I'd stand by that still. The one nice improvement is that there's a bit of a swivel now with these ear cups, which just sort of enhances that comfort. It's really nice. All right, that's enough of the general overview and features on this thing. Let's talk about what most people are interested in on the V3 Pro Wireless, and that's its wireless microphone. All right, so this is the microphone test portion of this video. I have my V3 Pro wireless headset in Audacity right now running, no post-processing going on. I will be, adjusting some audio levels just to kind of keep things balanced in that regard. I also have all the microphone enhancement stuff turned off in Razer Synapse, so apologies in advance if you hear any sort of weird mouth sounds coming from me, but I just kind of want to try to give a fair and clear audio example with this headset. Now, from the little listening that I've done with this headset, I think it sounds pretty darn nice. I do like to boost the lower frequencies on this thing, but that's just my personal preference, and we'll get more into that later. But I do really like how this microphone sounds, and my friends in Discord have all said it sounds pretty darn nice as well. The main criticism with this headset that it got when it came out initially was that the microphone was really kind of a step back in terms of what people were hearing when they compared this microphone to the V2. I've had several updates since buying this headset, and I think it sounds noticeably better than it did when it first came out. But yeah, compared to the V2, it's hard to say. You know what? Give me 1 second here. I'll be right back.
1 credit card purchase later.
All right, so this is the V2 headset. This is the 2023 model. I think that's the year where they upgraded the microphone for this. This is the one that everybody loved, and it's a fantastic sounding wireless microphone, probably one of the best, if not the best of its time. And yeah, right now, again, I have it running into Audacity, no post-processing going on, minor volume adjustments, etc., etc. When I'm doing my little bit of comparison back and forth from just my ear tests, they sound very comparable to each other, but they have their own differences. And for me, I mean, it's personal preference for everybody. With at least listening to it with its flat EQ, I prefer the V3 because it isn't as harsh in the top end. I think the V2 does have a bit more overall clarity. And that's kind of a consequence that you get when you have a little bit more of that top end that tends to add a little bit more of a crispy sound to the vocals. And for me, I don't like how my voice sounds to begin with. And so I often like to have something with a little more low end for my voice, and I like to kind of reduce that top end. And we'll get into that later. But currently, both microphones sound great. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, again, because a lot of this is subjective, and so kind of having a discussion about the microphone quality preferences is really important, I think, for video like this. So that's with the flat EQ setting. I'm going to go ahead now and switch over to my favorite preset, and what I think most people's favorite preset is with this microphone, and that is the broadcast setting. So again, going to keep the V2 headset on. We're going to switch over to broadcast. Okay, this is the broadcast preset for the V2 Pro wireless headset. This sounds a lot better than when it was set to its flat EQ preset, in my opinion. Yeah, it just kind of boosts that low end and takes away a little bit off of that top end, which, like I said before, I don't really like how my voice sounds when you start adding a bit more of those high frequencies. I think a lot of people like to add a little bit of low end into their voice. It kind of punches through a lot, especially in like Discord channels and what have you. I think it sounds great, but let's see how it sounds when I go to the V3 and have it set to its broadcast setting. All right, so this is the V3 headset in its broadcast setting, and yeah, it sounds great. It sounds much better than when it was set in its flat EQ preset, but honestly, when comparing it to the V2, it's negligible, to say the least, in terms of like which one I prefer more. The difference with this broadcast preset versus the V2 is that in addition to boosting that low end, it doesn't actually cut the high frequencies like the V2 does. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of boosting high frequencies. I don't like how my voice sounds once you start doing that, but it's all subjective, right? For me, the big thing with this microphone test and what it's showing me is that after these updates, both microphones sound great. If you're looking strictly for a good microphone, the V3 isn't going to beat out the V2 any more than the V2 would beat out the V3, at least to my ear. I think the V3's main selling points at this point are the microphone is now fixed, and the battery life is still there, substantially better than the V2 in my opinion. And you got that, again, that dual audio connectivity feature, which is something that I really love. But right now we're focusing on the microphone. I think that they're both great, but it's honestly kind of subjective as always. And so I think for this test, it's really important too, if you can leave a comment down below in what your thoughts and opinions are on this headset and how the microphone sounds. I think that's really helpful to other people checking this video out. So do let me know in the comments down below what you think about this microphone and how it sounds compared to that V2. All right, conclusion time. Do I think the Blackshark V3 Pro wireless headset is better than the V2 Pro? Well, no. If you were paying attention earlier in this video, I said that I liked the V3 more. But do I think that you should buy it over the V2? Well, that's a little more complicated. You see, I think on paper, this headset really ticks all the boxes in being a more upgraded headset than the V2 Pro. But I could be convinced that the microphone quality, while an excellent microphone in its own right compared to pretty much any other headset on the market right now, I could buy the argument that it's not better than the V2. So, you know what? It's kind of subjective in that area. Also, in terms of the other features that you get with this microphone, I don't know if that justifies the jump in price. As of recording this video, the Blackshark V3 Pro can be bought for $250. And the V2 can be found anywhere between, on the low end, around like $160 if you're savvy enough, to at most MSRP $200. So you're looking at anywhere between a $50 to almost $100 price difference between these two headsets. The two main features that really stand out for the V3 headset for me are its improved battery life. This headset gets an advertised 70 hours, and yeah, I notice it compared to the V2. The V2 is fine in terms of battery life, but this thing, man, it feels like I just never have to charge it. It's awesome. And then obviously the other thing that I already mentioned earlier in this video being that dual audio connection setup with this headset. Just being able to simultaneously be connected via Bluetooth on my phone and then connected to my PC via that 2.4 gigahertz dongle. It's great. I like it a lot, and I do think it's worth the price for that. Now, for most of you out there, I imagine that if you just want a gaming headset that is like super high quality in terms of its microphone quality, its comfort, and all that stuff, the V2 Pro is still excellent and is an excellent option. And frankly, I think if you don't want any of the other little features like the chat mixer wheel or that dual audio connection, just get the V2. But if you want something that has all of the bells and whistles and still has a really good microphone, well, then the V3 is an option you can go with. Whichever headset you prefer, if you want to check any of these out for yourself, I'll be sure to leave Amazon affiliate links in the description down below. But yeah, that about does it for this one, everyone. Thank you as always for watching the video and checking out the channel. If you want to see more review content like this, be sure to let us know by hitting that appropriate like or dislike button. As always, if you have any questions regarding the review on anything that I may have neglected to mention in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below. I try to answer as many questions as I can. But yeah, that's enough rambling out of me. I do like both of these headsets, but I do have to return this V2 before that return date expires. So my name is Blake. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, y'all have a good one.